And welcome back on this Wednesday morning. Let's quickly go over that forecast. 59 degrees out there. Feels quite nice. The stars and the moon. It was so clear this morning. Looked beautiful. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day. Only 20% chance of showers today. Enjoy. Temperatures are going to reach, look at that, 84, maybe even 87, 88 degrees today. Tomorrow going to be another lovely day. Only 20% chance of those showers. Looks like the biggest chance for rain so far is Friday with 50% chance of rain. At least it won't be just all day long. Hopefully things will dry out quickly. And look at the weekend. Gorgeous. 73 for those temperatures. Then we stick around the 80s.
All right. Seth, did y'all have a good day first Monday of the month?
I had a great day.
Busy day.
It's just speeding up and getting faster and faster from in the store to the website. It's just amazing.
Online sales.
But today, we're going to talk about my buddy Adam and what he's got going on. Adam McNutt. He basically does mission work. Now, I've helped him with training, lose weight, increase muscle, get ready for his PT test for the police department. But
awesome.
I guess on the side you do
how do you say
mission
that?
work.
What you do is remarkable.
Yeah. So could you tell everybody?
You're wanting to be a Athens City policeman or a
Huntsville.
Huntsville police.
Yeah, I go through the last phase Friday, which is the polygraph.
So how much weight have you lost?
It's not how much weight I've lost because I've actually gained weight. I went from 163 to 181.
So you were scrawny.
I was scrawny, but I've gone from 25.4% body fat to less than 17% body fat within about a 5-month span.
Working with Seth?
Working with Seth.
Turn that fat to muscle.
He did all the work.
But listen to the amazing thing he does on the side.
And I'm from Athens. Yeah.
And you're a missionary.
And I'm a missionary.
All
Now,
right.
usually when you hear missionary, you just think you're going over there digging wells, helping people with water. You are, I want to hear some of these. I mean, thank you for doing
what is your mission? We mentioned earlier, but let's go back over that.
All right, so like in 2014, me and my wife were led by God to start a nonprofit ministry that rescues children at risk or victim of sex trafficking.
In India?
In India. We had been working with another organization in 2012, 2013, and we really felt led to concentrate in the northern part of India where you have Mumbai, you have Delhi, you have the red light districts, GB Road in Delhi, and you have those auctions where they auction off the children and the women.
Now, the only thing I know about that is the movie.
Taken.
Taken. Where they're auctioning them off to the...
Well, it's funny.
Does that really happen?
It really does happen. In fact, the co-producer, Lisa Arnold of God's Not Dead, actually has partnered with Set Them Free. And they're coming out with a movie, and anyone can go to our website or Facebook page and see this, called Cage No More, coming out in theaters in January, where it talks about how even here in America, you'll find children being sold by their parents, being sold by family members, either here in the States. In this particular movie, it's where a father takes his daughter to Greece and sells her into an auction there in Greece. And so this is a worldwide...
Okay, I was going to ask you, it's not just India.
It's not just India. It's all over.
Worldwide.
Now, they just arrested some people, I want to say out of Nashville and Atlanta, for sex trafficking here the last couple of months.
How old are these children?
On average, 10 to 12 years old.
Get out.
They go as young. We've actually encountered children as young as a year old that have been abused.
Oh my God.
And a lot of that goes back into the religion, unfortunately, where there's a belief among many Hindus that if you have relations with a virgin, you can be cured of STDs or AIDS. And so... And then you've got reincarnation and karma that play into it. So unfortunately, a lot of people see these children being abused, and they believe that they did something in their previous life so egregious that this is going to teach them to be a better Hindu, and so they don't interfere because they don't want to interfere with their own karma to mess them up for their next life. And so that's why we started this ministry where Jesus is the center of it, because it's going to take a worldview change for them to see that they have a purpose, that God has created them in their image, and that you get one shot at this life, and after that is the judgment. So
now you and your wife go to India, and I'm sure they're not just saying, "Hey, here, open up our doors, come on in, see what we're doing." I mean, they're in a dangerous situation.
You're absolutely right. They don't offer missionary visas. They do, but you don't want to apply for them because you'll be rejected. So we have to go in under something else. And
what was the machete story you were just sharing?
So I went out to a village one time, me and several friends, and we were looking to do evangelism during the Christmas time in this particular area. And I remember seeing two guys walking towards me, and one of them had a machete, and I could clearly see by his facial expressions, his body language, he wasn't looking to cut down trees. He was looking to see who I was and what I was doing there. And so that was one instance where, we had to do some quick thinking. And
Are you armed?
No. In India, you're not allowed to own guns or buy guns. You can have a long barrel rifle.
I'll send you one. We'll figure it out.
How did you get out of that situation?
Well, we ended up changing the story, and creating one for him that I was a business owner. I was looking for land to start production, and so he bought it. But if I have told him, I was a Christian and whatnot, I would have not come out.
I'll smuggle you a gun up there.
Have you met and talked to some of these and administered Christ to some of these girls that have been taken?
Yes, we have We have 2 homes and 1 center that Set Them Free supports. One home has about 81 children. These children are in 3 categories: children rescued out of the brothel, that have been abused or were at risk of being abused. We have another group that were born with AIDS because their mothers had AIDS. And then we have a group that are orphans. And so that's why it's not just rescuing those who have been victimized, but rescuing those who are at risk. Because children on the streets will be picked up and sold into a brothel.
And basically, how big a deal is this sex trade worldwide?
It's the second most gross profiting industry in the world, right after illegal arms.
And it's not like y'all just go over there and visit. How long did y'all stay?
We, on and off, we have lived there for 3 years. We have been doing ministry there for 7 years. Wow. Actually, one instance, you had brought up the machete, but what is really probably the most powerful experience for us was in 2013, June of 2013, me, my wife, our daughter Catherine, and our son Gabriel went over there. We moved over there. Our first day, we got off the plane, we just visited homes, did village outreach that night, and so the next morning we woke up and Gabriel wasn't talking. He just wasn't very active, and we thought, well, he's jet lagged. We hit the ground running.
How old is he?
He is 6 now.
Okay, so he was
at that time he had just turned 4. He had just turned 4, like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so it turns, it progressed until we gave him a bath. Well, me and Catherine and Gabriel were sitting on the bed, and he just falls off. And you know how when you fall, you have those reflexes to try and catch yourself. There was no such thing there. So I take him into Leslie. She's consulting him. She puts him down. He just starts vomiting up against the wall.
Oh my gosh.
So we take him out. At that time, we were staying with the pastor and his wife because our apartment wasn't ready. He starts praying over Gabriel, and the minute he says amen, Gabriel starts foaming at the mouth. So me and the pastor's wife jump on a motorcycle and are looking for a place to get a CT scan. We ended up having to get in a car and drive 45 minutes to another city to do that. It turns out that Gabriel was born with a malformed blood vessel in the center of his brain. And it had burst and he was bleeding into his brain. At that time, 4/5 of his brain was filled with blood.
Dang.
5 hours we had to drive to get to the closest hospital because they told us your son needs to go to a hospital that specializes in this. So 5 hours later, between that time, he had gone paralyzed on the right side of his body. He had become a mute, and he had had permanent brain damage. They rush him in, get him an MRI. He comes back three quarters of his brain is filled with blood. So they rush him into emergency brain surgery, and they've already got us scheduled for 2 months of staying there doing rehab. He comes out of the surgery good, but 1, 2, 3, 4 days pass. He can't. The only word he can say is yes, no matter what you ask him. He can't move any of his right side of his body. On day 5, God completely heals him. no permanent brain damage, no longer paralyzed, no longer mute. Today, you would not even know unless you felt the top of his head where they cut in, a quarter of his head to get to his brain. But that's just
prayers working.
We had people all across the U.S. praying for him. We had people all across India praying for him, and that was a testimony of God's faithfulness. Because we had so many people say, "Well, what happens if your children get sick over there? What are you going to do?" And our response was, "We're going to trust God. We know that He's called us to go."
All right. On this sex thing, when a girl is taken in, her chances of getting out are what?
Slim. Very slim.
How many years of abuse would she have to take?
Well, typically, we work in one brothel that we have a center in that provides child care to the mothers. These are children who aren't abused, but until they can surrender their parental rights to us and allow their children to come in, we provide child care to them. And so to go back to your question, in that particular brothel, there's a 5-year term. So you have to fulfill 5 years of service to the pimp before you're allowed to leave. However, there are some brothels where there is no term.
So from 13 to 18.
So about how many men will they service a day?
22 to 23.
Goodness gracious.
Now, have you been in one of these brothels?
Yeah.
How they operate?
I have. I went in April.
What are the conditions?
You didn't kill people?
No. Pretty grim. You'll see women sitting out front waiting for Johns. And what's really heartbreaking for me as a daddy, you'll see children running around. And that's why we have a center in the center of the brothel where we provide child care, because you want to take them out of that dangerous environment and at the same time minister to the women and give them an opportunity to leave, give them an opportunity.
How can people help you?
They can go to setthemfreenow.org, which is our website. They can give online. We're always in need of support. They can mail a check to our P.O. Box, which is Set Them Free, P.O. Box 622, Athens, Alabama 35611. All of our information is on the website. We're on social media. But we're always looking for churches to speak at, businesses to partner with. Lawlers has in many of their locations